3 item. Mute speech toggle. Speech muted.
The topic of this video is looking at accessibility with a screen reader in Microsoft Word. So many types of accessibility like plain language or print contrast, for example, are visually apparent, but certain elements that make a document more usable for a screen reader are not. And we're going to look at heading tags, tables, and alt text in images. So I have two versions of more or less the same document here.
Bullet contents, inaccessible.
Here's one called inaccessible, and then the other
Accessible.docx.
version of the document that is called accessible. I'm using the screen reader NVDA.
Accessible.
And more or less, these documents are visually similar. I mean, they're not exactly the same, but they're very close to one another. So moving over to
Inaccessible.
the inaccessible document,
Inaccessible.
we're going to first look at headings. So I'm going to arrow down here.
Too bad. So sad.
Here we have a title and a subtitle,
Contents.
which are strictly formatted with bold text and larger size font.
Bullet for bullet travel. Bullet other details. Fruits and vegetables.
And here we have a heading.
Fruits and vegetables. Select.
Fruits and vegetables, and then we have some more headings below.
Blank. There are many other details.
We have other details. That's also a
Other
heading.
details selected. Other graphics. My travels. Travel. My travel selected.
And then the heading travel. Now, if I try to move to the with NVDA or any other
Inaccessible.
screen reader, I should have the ability to setting the screen reader into a specific document reading mode.
Too bad. Inaccessible.
And I believe now you should be able to see where I'm looking with the screen reader. I ought to be able to move to these headings with a key command, H.
No next heading. No next heading.
But right now it says no next heading because these are incorrectly tagged. These should be tagged as headings using the style feature. So if you go to home,
Ribbon
and then
tabs.
click
Tab
style,
control L. Normal.
here we see some of these styling options that
No spacing. Heading 1. Heading. Title not subtitle not subtle emphasis not.
these styling options that we get in Microsoft Word. If you're styling with these types of options, then it will give you the correct result. In this case, the person who created this document is just using an enlarged font and a bold
Styles button.
attribute to make them look like headings even though they're not.
Ribbon tabs.
Now let's move over
Document.
to the accessible document and we'll see how that works.
Accessible.docx. Word document. Accessible. Isn't contents. Link other deep blank. Heading level 2 bookmark fruits and vegetables.
Now, before fruits and vegetables, we heard heading level 2 bookmark. That tells me that this is actually tagged as a heading. And so I'll just go straight away and go into reading mode. And now you can see
Out of heading level 2 bookmark fruits and vegetables.
my cursor. I'm going to press H. We'll see what happens.
Heading level 2 bookmark travel.
Now we're on travel.
My travels. Heading level 2 bookmark travel.
I'll press H again.
Heading level 2 bookmark other details.
And now we're on details.
There are many other heading level 2 bookmark other.
I can go back up in the document by pressing Shift H.
Heading level 2 bookmark.
So this document here is not very long, but if you imagine this being a document of 40, 50, or even more pages, this tagging is indispensable. Let me show you another area where tagging is useful. Let's go to the table of contents.
Accessible.
So in the inaccessible document, the table of contents is simply a list that I've manually created. But with this, it's actually a table of contents correctly coded as such. Go to the reference menu.
Ribbon tabs tab T. Built-in grouping. Automatic
Table
table
of
1.
contents options here.
Accessible.
So you go click the reference tab and then table of contents. So I'm going to show you what happens when I click on one of these items in the table of contents.
File tab. Document page. Fruits and vegetables link. Travel link. Match heading level 2 bookmark travel.
It jumps me straight to it.
Page 1 heading level 2 bookmark.
I don't have the ability to do that in the other document because the table of contents isn't coded right. Now, moving on from headings, let's talk about images. So right here below, I've got, below this heading that I'm sitting at, travels, I'm going to look at this image.
My travels. Accessible.docx.
I'm going to first start with the inaccessible
Inaccessible.
one.
Bullet fruit draft my travels. Graphic selected picture 1.
So when we go over this image, which is a picture of a much younger self in Mexico. It just says
Match graphic selected picture 1.
graphic selected picture 1. Now, if we go over to the accessible version,
Accessible dot. Heading level 2 bookmark my travels. Graphic selected white man standing with ocean and dock in the background. White man standing with ocean and dock in the background. Graphic selected. Layout options. Text rapid.
white man standing with ocean, white man standing with ocean and dock in the background. So that is the difference, is that this image in the accessible document has alt text applied to it.
With text in line with text grouping. In line with text.
So
unselected blank. Graphic selected. Carriage return selected. Match graphic selected. Graphic selected out of graphic. Graphic selected.
If you go into the image
ribbon tab layout design tab select insert file tab ribbon display options editor group.
Under the image tools, there's some in accessibility. There is an option for alt text, and you can click on it.
Accessible. Graphic select.
But you can find that yourself because it's quite extensive to get to for me, but not for you. So that is the end of it with alt text. Now let's look at the final thing that I wanted to show, which is tables.
Inaccessible.
So a really common practice.
Fruits and vegetables.
A really common practice with tables is that someone creates a table in a document like Excel, and then you copy and paste it over as an image. And actually, when I took a course at a university here in Oregon, they actually explicitly taught us to do it in this way. And so here's the result for a screen reader user. I'm looking at this table, which basically has a couple columns, one for fruits, one for vegetables, and then within each corresponding row, it has some examples. So if I arrow down,
graphic selected picture 42.
It just says graphic selected picture 42.
Travel. My travels.
And then now you can see I basically just I hit the arrow key a couple more times and I just move right past it. So it's as if there was literally no table. It doesn't even tell me that it is a table or anything like that. So if we go over to the accessible document,
accessible.docx word accessible. Heading level 2 bookmark travel.
We can use these wonderful heading tags.
Heading level 2 bookmark
to get to it.
Table with 5 rows and 2 columns. Row 1 column 1 fruits.
It says table with, you can hear it, table with 5 rows and 2 columns. I'll just get back into reading mode here.
Table with 5 rows and 2 columns. Row 1 column 2 vegetables.
I'm just going to arrow down and just listen as I'm arrowing down.
Row 2 fruits column 1 apples. Vegetables column 2 bell peppers. Row 3 fruits column 1 oranges. Vegetables column 2 tomatoes. Row 4 fruits column 1 grapes. Vegetables column 2 carrots. Row 5 fruits column 1 bananas. Vegetables column 2 mushrooms.
So there's a few things here. First of all, you can see how my cursor is going new row, and then it goes column by column. So row 2, column 1, column 2, row 3, column 1, column 2, and so forth. You can hear that when I go to a new column, it actually reads the first row, which I've tagged as a header. So that way I know what's coming up. And let me show you too, in addition to that, if I just arrow down, I also have additional functionality. I can navigate row by row or column by column.
Fruits column 1, row 3, row 4 grape, row 5 bananas.
You can see how basically
vegetables column, row 3 tomato, row 4 carrot, fruits column 1 grapes.
I'm able to very quickly reference all of the cells in this table as if I was moving in an Excel document. So I'm not actually necessarily obligated to move in that pattern that you saw at the beginning, row 1, column 2, row 3, column 1, column 2. I can actually move by row or by column as I want.
Vegetable.
And the result, that is because this is coded as a table. So compare that again to the inaccessible version, which I basically can't. I can't interact with it at all. So those are a few examples. Tables, heading tags, and alt text that make most documents accessible. This has been a demonstration with Microsoft Word. Many of the same types of features apply with other types of documents if you're doing a PDF or if you're doing an HTML document. And yeah, so I hope that has been useful, and feel free to write or comment any questions you might have about this. Isn't really, I recommend taking a look in this case at Microsoft support resources for how to do the particulars of these. For example, alt text and how to create tables in Microsoft Word. They have really great support materials, and usually if you follow their instructions, then your documents are going to be quite screen reader accessible. So I hope this has been helpful, and you have a great week. Thanks.